Whenever you engage your opposition, whether it's in a debate or in a written form or in a video form like this, it's best to take that opposition at its highest, or at bare minimum, to characterize it accurately. And not just as a show of good faith for your opposition, not just because it helps you build your own strongest case for your own position, but because it helps you avoid making unintentional performance art. If instead of taking on your opponent's actual position, you take on some distorted caricature, you're setting up what people commonly call a straw man, an intentionally weakened version of your opposition you've created not for the sake of honest debate, but for the ease of knocking down, to make yourself look and feel better. And when done in the extreme, you exit the realm of debate and you enter the realm of theatrics. And that's where we are with a lot of the most vocal Trump opposition. It is now theatrics. It is now performance art. Some of it is literally at museums. Much of it is from people whose livelihood is fictional performance.
Great acting can change the world by revealing intimate truths that serve as a forceful reminder to folks that when they feel broken and afraid and tired, they are not alone.
Compelling, but I find you much more persuasive as a low-life cop than a high-society cultural critic, especially one who condemns casual violence.
And when we are at a loss amidst the hypocrisy and the casual violence of certain individuals and institutions,
and then in the next sentence, endorses casual violence.
we will, as per Chief Jim Hopper, punch some people in the face when they seek to destroy the weak and the disenfranchised and the marginalized.
But performance art is becoming the task of politicians too. Just ask Chuck Schumer, who diced up a dozen onions backstage prior to his press conference in opposition to President Trump's travel ban executive order.
This executive order was mean-spirited and un-American.
But I don't want to be too hard on Chuck. As he says, it was a very emotional couple of minutes he spent with these people he's never met before.
Just here from Syria. We've had an emotional few minutes together.
Gosh, how beautiful. It was political convenience at first sight. And Schumer didn't stop there. He made the media rounds to voice his opposition as well, appearing on Monday morning's Today Show in an interview with Matt Lauer. In making his case, Schumer offers a classic example of just how bad it can get when you deliberately misrepresent your opposition to prop yourself up. You might get a good momentary photo op, but in the long term, all you really get is incoherence. Schumer starts by characterizing this travel ban as something it clearly is not: a Muslim ban or a policy based on a religious test.
They're not stopping terror. They're instead doing what is in effect, as Rudy Giuliani said, a Muslim ban. Now that is against what America is all about.
You don't need to be a legal scholar to know that we should not have religious tests in America.
A Muslim ban that doesn't affect 87% of the global Muslim population. A Muslim ban that does not contain the words Muslim or Islam in its text. A Muslim ban that is explicitly temporary, a delay of 90 days to create proper vetting mechanisms for immigrants from these high-risk states. If that's the starting point for Chuck Schumer's case, a total mischaracterization, it's hard to imagine subsequent solid arguments to explain his position. Well, just like a Syrian refugee used as a political prop for a disingenuous politician, don't get your hopes up. At the core of Chuck's argument are two entirely incompatible premises. He's not the only one I've heard make this argument with seemingly no awareness to the contradiction, but he is the latest I've heard. Premise 1. Immigrants pose no danger to the American citizenry.
Look at these faces. Are they any kind of threat to America? No, they're the promise of America.
Premise 2. If you don't let the immigrants in, they'll become radicalized and try to kill you.
These orders hurt our domestic security by increasing the small number who would resort to terrorism at home. This order makes lone wolves more likely, not less.
It will encourage lone wolves here in America. They have created most of the terrorism.
Let them all in. They're so peaceful. Unless, of course, you don't do exactly what they say, in which case they're very likely to become dangerously violent. Schumer also completely undermines his own characterization of this travel ban as religiously based, noting a person could find easier entry into the U.S. from Europe.
In fact, there's something called the Visa Waiver Program, which allows people from France or Belgium, places where there are known terrorists, to come in, no questions asked.
Hey, this Muslim ban has way too many loopholes that easily let Muslims in. That's not a loophole. That's the intended function of the policy. But note the extra irony here. Schumer notes there are known terrorists in France and Belgium. Well, how did many of those terrorists get there? By posing as refugees for quick and easy entry into the European Union. By posing as the very people Chuck Schumer tearfully props up as no risk at all. If only we could be welcoming, like our European neighbors. But also, beware of Europe. There's a hell of a lot of terrorists there. And just in case that's not enough, astounding contradiction and amazing lack of self-awareness, somehow, there's more. In his interview on Today, Chuck Schumer dishonestly pretends he has no idea where the Trump administration got this list of countries now under travel restriction.
The biggest problems we've had with terrorism are not from these countries. I don't even get what they were getting at, because they're not stopping terror.
Yeah, where'd that list of countries come from? Oh, right, it came from President Obama's late 2015 Terrorist Travel Prevention Act, which terminated visa waiver programs for immigrants from these exact same countries. A law for which Chuck Schumer himself voted affirmatively. Now, to be fair to Schumer, that law ended up being packaged within a giant appropriations bill, so it's possible he voted without proper scrutiny for that particular provision, but one, shame on you for not scrutinizing what you vote for, and two, ignorance shouldn't be a defense when there was plenty of civil rights opposition to the law at the time, including a letter sent to Senate leadership from the ACLU. Who would pick these countries out for the travel ban? You, Chuck. You would. And you did a year ago, and you did not cry about it. When you've intentionally misrepresented your opposition to the degree Chuck Schumer has, you can easily fall into his trap of having no logical basis remaining for his arguments. If that's the case, it's no wonder he resorts to the theatrical showmanship of tears over honesty or reason. But personally, I'll take the tears of a career politician as an indicator of progress, not an indicator of failure. A crying Chuck Schumer tells me we might be on the right path, not the wrong one. Now, if we could just get the whole Schumer family crying more, we'll really be onto something. At that point, we'll know for sure. We really are making America great again. Thanks as always for listening and for supporting this channel. Always appreciate that thoughtful discussion down below, and especially over on Twitter. That is at ML Christiansen. You're always welcome to come hang out and chat in my live streams. Those are linked down in the description. Looking forward to it. Okay, bye.